Next, though, to Thailand, where a decision has been made on its new finance minister, after Pridi Daochai called it quits following just 26 days in office. While the name has not been officially announced, it's speculated to be former Transport Minister Arkhom Termpittayapaisith. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has already given the name of a candidate to the king and awaits the king's approval. He had previously said the candidate should be an economic expert and have knowledge of how the government works. Mr. Prayut has also said he supports the rewriting of the constitution. Opposition parties and protesters have been pushing for constitutional reform. Now, for more, May Wong joins us live. May, the replacement comes after a month without a finance minister, as the last one quit rather unexpectedly.
Indeed. So it's been 1 month that Thailand has got no finance minister because it's a very hot seat and many, in fact, have turned down the offer to get into that position. But now it seems that things are going to be looking up for Thailand in terms of having someone to fill this position, likely next week, of course, after given the king's approval. And he, as you mentioned, is Mr. Arkhom Termpittayapaisith. And he has got good financial as well as economic background, given the fact that he was not only the ex-transport minister, but also he's had positions in the Bank of Thailand before under the Risk Management Committee and also in the Monetary Policy Office in Thailand as well. The things that are actually going for him is the fact that when he was Transport Minister, he came under Mr. Prayut's government, under the military government at that time. So he does have an understanding of how the cabinet works. He does have an understanding of how to come up with macroeconomic policies. Another thing going for him is the fact that he's deemed as an honest, a clean guy and a respectable guy in the community, and so a lot of the people in the business community are actually quite encouraged to see this person being appointed. But you must remember, what is not going for him is the fact that he now needs to deal with the political power struggles within the cabinet, and that has been going on for some time, given that this is a coalition ruling party, as you can see. So he might have to learn how to deal with all of that. And yet another downside for him is that he may have the civil service experience, but he does not have the actual direct experience in the business world. So he does not have that kind of a perhaps understanding of what is really required in the business community. However, things are exactly looking up for Thailand because at this point in time, they need someone to be able to get in there to help to revive this ailing economy. Thailand is set to see possibly a contraction of the economy of minus 8.5% this year. And also a lot of people continue to lose their jobs because as of August, already almost 2 million people are left unemployed. So this person has to come in here and really try to come up with not just short-term, medium-term, but really long-term policies in this financial sector.
May, let's look at something else. Mr. Prayut has said that he supports the rewriting of the constitution. So how will Thailand proceed with this?
Well, let me be clear here. The fact that he supports it doesn't mean that they've actually agreed to go ahead and do it. At this point in time, in terms of the members of parliament, they've not actually decided whether or not they will touch the constitution. In fact, just recently, parliament failed to vote on the fact that they will go ahead and form committees to start drafting the constitution. Now, in fact, the parliament chose to form a study committee instead to look at the various ways on how they can even go about considering to do it. And that, of course, angered a lot of the protesters, a lot of the citizens. So at this stage, we haven't even touched the constitution. And if we do agree to go ahead and amend the constitution, well, it will take at least 2 years to do that because there needs to be several approvals, not just coming from the government, but also coming from the members of parliament, from the government-appointed senators at that. So this is not going to be a quick fix in terms of changing the constitution overnight. Thailand, you must remember, over 88 years has already gotten 20 constitutions. So this is something that is not going to be very easy to do. And obviously, this is also fueling a lot more protests that are happening on the streets.